All right, so now we're going to start with number 8, and I want to apologize for the strange cutoff, but I caught a mistake and I wanted to make sure that I got things the way I wanted them. So we're going to pick up with 8 and 9 here. Now, for 8 and 9, we're going to use this chart, just like I was telling you in the last video. This is what it's there for. So starting with 50 grams of radium-226, how many grams of radium-226 are left after 3,200 years? Well, first thing we got to do is just like we said over here. The steps do not change. Step 1 is to find the number of half-lives. So we need to know how many half-lives this substance has been through. Now we can do this a couple of ways. If we know the half-life is 1600 and we know 3,200 years have passed, we could do some simple division here. 3,200 divided by 1600 will give us 2. This tells us the number of half-lives. Now for those of you who have no idea how this works or where I got that number or why, think about it this way. We've got to get back to ground zero. We have to know how many half-lives have passed. So what we can do is we can say 3,200 divided by 2, that's 1 half-life, gives us 1,600. 1,600 means 1 half-life has passed, so we got to get to 0, right? Divided by 2 again gives us 0. So we know this is 1 half-life, 2 half-lives. So this substance has gone through 2 half-lives. Personally, I think just dividing it this way is easier, but I wanted to break it down for those who may feel like, okay, I need to see that a different way. Okay? So now we have our number of half-lives. We're going down to step 2. Step 2 says, well, how much is remaining? So we started with 50 grams. We've been through 2 half-lives, so we're going to say 50 divided by 2 because that's 1 half-life. Gives us 25 grams. We got to go through a second half-life. So we're going to divide by 2 again. And that means that we only have 12.5 grams of this substance left after 3,200 years. Okay? All right. Last but not least is plutonium-218. So number 9 says after 4.5 years, after 4 half-lives, the sample of plutonium-218 weighs 12 grams. What was the original weight of the sample? Now, I could come over here to my chart and I could find out the plutonium-218 has a half-life of 3.1 minutes. Honestly, is that important here? No. Here's why. I've already done the work for you. I've already told you the number of half-lives. So this problem's pretty simple. The only thing we have to remember is this is another one of those problems where you're looking for the original amount. When you're looking for the original amount, you multiply. Okay, remember, you reverse step 2. So go back and look at number 7 if you need some guidance on that, okay? So here we know, hey, we ended with 12 grams. Now we're going to work backwards through 4 half-lives. We're just going to multiply by 2 4 times. So 12 times 2 gives us 48. That's 1 half-life. Times 2, that gives us, 24 times 2 gives us 48. So there's 1 half-life, 2 half-lives. We're going to multiply this by 2 to give us 3 half-lives. So that's going to give us 96. And we're going to multiply that 1 more time for our 4th half-life, giving us 192 grams. Okay? So we did 1 half-life, 2 half-lives, 3 half-lives, 4 half-lives. And the only reason we multiplied was because we are finding the original amount. Anytime you're working backward, you multiply. If you're going forward, you divide. Because remember, a half-life is cutting the material in half. A good rule of thumb, if you are trying to multiply or divide by a different number than 2, stop. Because that means something's not right somewhere, or you may be using the wrong number. So always double check yourself, because you'll notice in every one of these problems, I'm always in step 2, either multiplying or dividing by 2. Is that understood? Okay. In step 2, you should only be multiplying or dividing by the number 2. I know for some of you, it's going to take a little bit to just kind of get used to this, go back and look at it. Please don't give up. Please don't just say, I can't. I want you to try, okay? So I want you to start looking at page 35 and 36, the Lucky Leprechaun Half-Life Problems. I'm going to give you some time to work on these. I'm going to be available for questions tomorrow. I will post information about that. But always feel free to send me an email, say, hey, I need help. Send me your work. Let me check it. Let me look over it. I know it's kind of difficult to do this on the computer. I miss working with you guys in person to do this. But you guys are champs, and I know you're rock stars, and you're going to do this and do it well. So I'm here to help you. But just try some problems on your own. 35 and page 36. And I will go over these, like I said, in video tomorrow. I will kind of open up the floor for questions tomorrow, and I'll post all that information. But I'm here to help you in any way I can today. You guys have a great day. Adios.